everyone. Today we're so excited to share something fun with you. Our very own Kyle Shimoda will be showing you how to prepare some popular social media dishes and drinks. Algona coffee, tomato feta pasta, grapefruit martini, and for dessert, s'mores Reese's Pieces. For those of you that don't know Kyle, he has a culinary background and is also from the island of Kauai like me. Kyle and I have known each other for a little over 10 years, and it was financial services that actually connected us. But it's our passion for food that keeps Kyle and I full and our wives and kids well fed. So without further ado, let's check in on Kyle and see these great dishes that he's going to prepare for us today.
Thanks, Troy, and thanks everyone for coming into my home. Most of you, or some of you, may know me as a wealth advisor with Impact Wealth Solutions, yet today I'm going to show you one of my hidden talents, which is cooking and culinary arts. I actually, when I went to business college at the University of Hawaii, I took 2 semesters off, went to culinary school, and for a little moment of time I thought I was going to become a restaurateur or a chef. And after I realized how difficult it was in that industry, I decided to go back, get my business degree, and I went into financial services. Yet I still love to cook. In fact, prior to the pandemic, for fun, I would do small private dinners, 2 to 20 people, anywhere from 5 to 10 courses with wine pairing. So that's still a love and passion of mine. Yet now that I have 2 little girls, it's mostly dino nuggets and pizza. Yet today we're gonna do a couple really fun dishes. It's dishes that you probably saw on Instagram or TikTok or maybe on TV. All these, I call them social media recipes. So we're actually gonna test them and see how they turn out. So we've got 4 dishes today. We're gonna do the Dalgona coffee, which was very popular in the beginning of the pandemic and maybe has fallen out of favor since then, yet it's a super simple dish and is a great way to jumpstart your sugar and caffeine rush in the morning or afternoon. We're also gonna do a pasta. This is a tomato feta pasta. I'm gonna show you another version using Boursin cheese, or you could use goat cheese. And I'm gonna show you some other additions you can do with that. I'm also gonna do the Reese's Pieces s'mores and show you a couple variations on that. And then I'm gonna show you a very simple cocktail that you can do using ingredients you already have around the house. And by the way, all these ingredients you can get at your local grocery or from Costco. In fact, 90% of the ingredients you see right here is from Costco. For our first dish, we're gonna do the Dalgona coffee. So apparently the trend came from Korea. It hit TikTok, a social media app, and then kind of went viral all over the internet, and people were doing this in the beginning of 2020, right when the pandemic hit. I love it because it's super simple. Anyone can make this, and there's really only 3 ingredients. It's instant coffee, sugar, hot water, and any type of milk of your choice. You can use cow's milk, or you can do a non-dairy milk like almond, rice, coconut. So very, very simple. So first step is we're gonna use the instant coffee. And we're gonna go 2 tablespoons, 2 heaping tablespoons of this. Now we're gonna do 2 heaping tablespoons of granulated sugar. Now, if you want to use other types of sweetener, you can. Sugar just happens to make the Dalgona fluff up the best. And then finally, 2 tablespoons of hot water. And then you can use a whisk if you've got the arm power, or you can use one of these electric hand mixers. So in culinary school, one of the things they would train us to do is proper form and technique. So when whisking, you want to use as much wrist as possible, all right? My first day doing this in culinary school, whisking eggs, I think I was in there with my shoulder and my hips. That can be very exhausting if you have to whisk something for minutes or hours. So the best thing is to hold the whisk like this if you can, right? Down versus like this, where you need more shoulder. Right? Hold like this, and you just move the wrists back and forth. And you can see we got the Dalgona frothing up right now. So you whip this for maybe about 30 seconds to a minute. You kind of want it to start looking like that, very creamy. If you use the machine, it'll go a lot faster and you can get it really frothy. I've been whipping this for about a minute now. And that's about the consistency I want to get there. Okay. So now it's pretty much done. We just have to put it together. So get a glass. Get some ice in there. Get the milk of your choice. And then if you want to be fancy, you put the dalgona right on top. If you don't want to be fancy, put the dalgona on the bottom. It'll be much easier to mix. There you go. Another popular dish that came out on social media was the Reese's Pieces s'mores. And really all it is your regular s'mores, which has the base, your graham cracker, and instead of chocolate, we're gonna use Reese's peanut butter cups, and then a toasted marshmallow on top and smash it all together. I'm gonna do a new variation, not using graham crackers because I'm going a little gluten-free, and I'm gonna use granola bars. So this also you can find at Costco. So on a pan lined with tin foil, we're gonna put out your granola bar or your graham crackers. And actually, I have found gluten-free graham crackers, so you can use that as well. And whoever came up with this dish was genius. They probably had a bunch of chocolate, a lot of candies left over after Halloween, and decided to just throw this on a s'more. So I think it's a great way to utilize stuff you've got around the house. So why not use Twix or a Dove bar, anything you got that has chocolate in it. And then the marshmallows. Okay. Also forgot to mention, make sure you preheat your oven. If you have a toaster oven, you can set it on broil just to get the tops of the marshmallow nice and toasty, a little bit of brown. So I got my oven at about 400 degrees with a convection. I'll pop that in there for about 4 to 5 minutes. And then we wait. Beautiful. Nice and toasty, nice and melted. And now for the finishing touch, we're gonna smash it together. All right, so now that it's just come out of the oven, it's piping hot. So before you serve this to your spouse or the kiddos, make sure you cool it off. I'm just gonna set it over here next to the window where it's nice and cool. There we go. The main dish, we're gonna do a version of the tomato feta pasta. I'm gonna use boursin. I've tested it several times with the feta. To me personally, the feta is very tart along with the tomatoes, and you have to add a lot of extra sugar to balance it out. So I like boursin better. I'm gonna show you my version. It's super simple, and really you're only gonna dirty maybe 1 or 2 dishes. So you need some pasta of your choice. You can even use gluten-free pasta. Then tomatoes, and then the cheese, so either feta, boursin, goat cheese. A little sweetener if you think it needs some, and you can use honey or sugar or agave. And then some extra virgin olive oil and salt and pepper. Additionally, you could add things like some spinach or some arugula, maybe some crispy bacon, and some dried herbs if you like, or even fresh herbs like parsley or basil. So let's get cooking. All right, so first step, clean up your tomatoes. So give it a nice rinse. And you want to use about a 9x9 pan or a 6x8, somewhere around there. Unless you're going to make a lot of pasta for a lot of people, you could use a much bigger pan. All right, after you've washed or rinsed your tomatoes, you're going to use about 40 to 50 of them. I actually counted it. You don't have to. I don't expect you to. Probably the rule of thumb is just get enough to cover the bottom with a little bit of space for the cheese. Next, you're gonna add some extra virgin olive oil. For flavor, actually any oil will work here. You're gonna toss the tomatoes around, get it nice and coated. Now here you're gonna add a little salt. Add a little pepper. If you want, you could also add some Italian seasoning. Toss that around a little bit. Okay. Next, you're gonna add your cheese, so either feta, if you're gonna go with the traditional recipe, you can use Boursin or goat cheese. I prefer the Boursin, which is actually a combination of cream cheese and goat cheese together. That's why it gets that nice consistency. There we go. Let's get a little bit more in there. And then just add a little bit more extra virgin olive oil right on top. And then drop it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 30 to 40 minutes. Now that you have your cheese and tomato in the oven, it's going to be there for about 30 to 40 minutes. Time to get the pasta ready. This normally takes about 5 to 6 minutes in hot water. Read the instructions on the back of your box. So get your hot water ready, nice and boiling, and then right before the tomato and feta is done, you're gonna get the pasta ready to go. I love fresh herbs on top of my pasta, so you can use basil, fresh parsley. So I got some fresh parsley right here. I also like a little extra green in there, so I'm gonna add some spinach, some fresh spinach. You could also use arugula as well. And what I'm going to do is gather it up in a bunch like this, kind of stack it up, kind of fold it or roll it, and then give it some thin slices just like that. This is called a chiffonade technique. You'll see this in Italian restaurants. So you get these nice long strips of spinach or basil. It's called a chiffonade. All right, and it's done when it looks something like this. You got the tomatoes nice and toasty and bursting, and a nice brown on top of the cheese. All right, so now we're gonna bring it all together. First step, break the tomatoes and mix it up. And again, one of the things I love about this particular recipe is you're really only dirtying 1 or 2 pans. And I say, this is 1 pan here. Your second pan might be the one that you saute your bacon or your ham in that you're gonna add into the pasta or top it with. So really this could just be a 1-pan recipe. At this point, you would add additional dry herbs, salt and pepper, or sweetener if you need. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna taste this first. I think it needs just a little bit more sweetener. I'm gonna add about 1 to 2 tablespoons, depending on how much sweetness you need to balance out the tart. Another tip here too, depending on the type of tomatoes you buy, whether it's grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes, the acidity levels might be a little different. That would determine how much sweetener you might need. All right, next, we're gonna add in the pasta. It's looking good. And now the amount of pasta you put in is going to depend on how dry or wet you want your final dish or the final outcome. You know, less pasta if you like lots of cream, lots of sauce. More pasta if you like them more dry. There we go. Now from here, this is where you'd add your final touches like your crispy bacon. You would add on either sprinkles of your chiffonade spinach as well as the parsley and serve it right there in the dish. They say it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and living in Hawaii, that is definitely true. So I'm gonna show you how to make something simple with some base ingredients that you may already have at home. So you obviously need your liquor, so liquor of your choice. I'm gonna use vodka today. You could also use gin, tequila, bourbon, whiskey, up to you. You're gonna need some type of sweetener, and I like something tart, especially fruit. So I'm gonna use this grapefruit cups that I found at Costco. And what's great is I make the grapefruit, give that to my kids for breakfast, and I reserve the juice for my cocktails in the evening. All right, so a mixer or a cup, if you don't have one, will work just fine. Okay, got the juice and the grapefruit for breakfast tomorrow morning. Get about an ounce of vodka, or more, depending on what kind of day you had. And then about a teaspoon of sweetener, and again, you could use simple syrup, honey, or agave. Ice. Pour it out. And then if you want to get fancy, you can add a little piece of grapefruit inside. You could even put one right on the rim. There you go. Enjoy. There we have it, 4 simple dishes from social media made in my home. Super simple, very easy. The Dalgona coffee, which I've been drinking throughout this entire process. The main dish, the cheese and tomato pasta. The cocktail, and oh, of course, I forgot the last one, the dessert, the s'mores. Let me go grab it. Hey, my s'mores! Some people, I guess no s'mores today. Well, we've got these 3 great dishes, and back to you, Troy.
Kyle, that was awesome. As you can see, Kyle is very talented, and we're so happy to have him as a part of our Impact team. We always have great food in the office whenever he's in. Being from the food industry myself, I realize there's a lot in common with food and finance. Many times when we make a dish, we may all have the same ingredients. How we plan the preparation part of our cooking our meal, the tools we have, the process of actually preparing the dish, all of that affects how our dish turns out. Very similar with financial planning. How you make the most of the ingredients you have access to. the tools you use to create that plan, and the process of building and following that plan will have a direct effect on how your dish or life turns out. Should you want to learn more on how we may be able to help you make the most of the ingredients you have, please feel free to reach out to us, and one of our wealth advisors will be more than happy to schedule a complimentary consultation meeting with you to learn how we may be able to help. Thank you again, Kyle, for such a fun time and for sharing your talents with us. We look forward to seeing all of you at our next event. If you have not received an invitation for our next event, please let us know, and one of our team members will be more than happy to forward that off to you. Until we see each other again, we hope you all stay safe and blessed. Mahalo.